Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. And by the video title, you know what this video is about. NFL mock draft number 1 for the entire first round of the entire NFL as well. So we're gonna do the first round of all the teams. We're not gonna do 7 rounds for all the teams, that'll take forever, but we're doing the entire first round of all the teams. Yesterday I did the Steelers mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I will be coming out with another one on Friday, so we're gonna look out for that. I'm gonna try to at least do 2 Steelers mock drafts a week, 1 NFL mock draft for the first round only a week, and then of course the draft analysis videos are still coming. As you guys know, basketball start back up at the All-Star break ends on Thursday, so we have some basketball videos coming up. The weekly review will be on Sunday, and also some Miami Heat stuff updates, so be on the lookout for all that content. We got some things coming, and March Madness is next month. I might do some coverage on March Madness as well, so be on the lookout for that too. But today we're doing the NFL mock draft, and before the draft started, I think a scenario that could happen in the draft a lot of people are not looking at is a dark horse pick. A lot of people think, of course, a lot of these teams like the Falcons will trade up to number 1, which could be possible. You know, all these different other teams trade up to number 1 to get that spot. Commanders are probably the most likely to trade up to number 1 to get Caleb Williams. A lot of people saying they shouldn't do it because you sit in the second spot. You don't want to kind of risk that, but I think the Vikings is a dark horse pick, in my opinion, to trade up to the first pick. And in my mock draft, I had the Vikings trade up from the 11th spot all the way up to the first spot, and get the first pick of the draft to take Caleb Williams. As you see, the Vikings have a good offensive line. They have a good offensive line, and they have a great receiving core. You look at Justin Jefferson, you look at Jordan Addison, you look at all those guys that got over there, Osborne as well. They have some little struggles in the rushing attack as well. Cam Akers is a receiving back. You know, he's at the backfield, can catch the ball at the backfield, made some plays here and there, got injured at the end of the season. TJ Hockenson is still there. He coming off of an ACL tear, so we're going to see how he looks. Kirk Cousins, Achilles tear, so he might be on the move, and they might be looking to go a different direction, maybe bring in a younger guy and go a younger route and, you know, start kind of fresh a little bit. So we're going to see what happens. But I think, in my opinion, the Vikings will be the dark horse team that trades up. Okay, looking at it like this, we have all the pieces we need on offense. Our defense is all right, you know. Defense can be better. Daniel Hunter, I think he hit free agency, so they're probably going to see about maybe franchise tagging him or find a big deal for him. So we'll see what happens in that situation. But the Vikings have the pieces, and sometimes when you're a team that have a lot of pieces, they're kind of built up, but you're just missing that one piece. You're like, I can go out there and get it. And Kirk Cousins, don't get me wrong, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He was good, but they just couldn't get over the hump. And he's getting a little older, coming off of a bad injury as well, Achilles tear. So we're going to see if the Vikings look to go in a different direction and try to start fresh and start new. And I think Caleb Williams will be a big time start for them. Them trading up to that first spot will be big time. Number 2, I had the Falcons trade up from the 8th spot with Washington. I feel like if the Vikings trade up and get, you know, Caleb Williams, I think Washington quarterback they want is Caleb Williams. Of course, Drake May would be great to get. Jaden Daniels would be great to get as well. But the Washington got to fix their O-line. Now, if they fix the O-line in free agency, they could have stayed right there and take one of those quarterbacks like Drake May or Daniels. But they don't fix the O-line, then you're looking at they might need to trade back down, try to build the team up around everything, and maybe go a different approach. Because maybe the Commanders might see if they can't trade up with the Bears, so they might go out there and get a veteran quarterback before the draft even starts. So they could maybe bring Kirk Cousins back before the draft even starts, or go a different approach, Russell Wilson or somebody. Or they can just build the team around and wait till further time down the line to try to find a quarterback for the future, or wait later rounds. But I think if Washington is where we at right now, we will know what's going to happen in free agency. I think Washington, if somebody trade up to get that first pick and get Caleb Williams, I think Washington will use the opportunity for their second pick to trade back to get an overhaul of picks. You know, overhaul of picks just to build the team up around. So I think they do that with the Falcons. The Falcons trade up and take Jaden Daniels. The Falcons looking at it like this: hey, we have everything around us. We have a better O-line. We have a rushing attack. We have a tight end. We have a receiver in Drake London. We have pieces. Defense, you got AJ Terrell, Jesse Bates. You got Garrett on the line as well. So you have pieces. So you're looking at it like, hey, we just need a quarterback. Last year, they missed the playoffs. You know, it came down to the last game to be decided, but they didn't control their own destiny. They needed a lot of things to happen to get to the playoffs. So you're looking at it like this. Last year we had poor quarterback play, and we were still like in the end of making the playoffs. So how about this year we go out there and get our guy. We get Jaden Daniels, a guy who will fit in our scheme perfectly, and try to go out there and win it and win that division. So I think the Falcons do that, trade up from the 8th spot with Washington, and Washington get like an overhaul of picks from them. At 3, I have the Patriots taking Drake May, which Drake May, as you guys know, is an amazing player. I have an analysis coming up about him, and I think on Thursday. So go look out for that. Chargers, I had Chargers take Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, I know a lot of people probably think the Chargers probably take an offensive tackle, which could possibly happen, but I think you need to build the weapons up. Keenan Allen is a very good receiver. If he's on pace to be a Hall of Famer probably as well. Very underrated too. A lot of people overlook his accomplishments. He has some amazing accomplishments as a receiver. But when you look at the other receivers there, Mike Williams is always hurt. He's an amazing player too. When he's healthy, he can go up there and get it. A vertical threat guy, but he's always injured. And then Quentin Johnson, he really didn't do anything last year. You know, I know he was banged up here and there, but when he did play, he was ineffective. He couldn't get open, couldn't get separation. And Steve Smith called it. You know, Steve Smith Sr., one of the best receivers of this generation. He called it. He said like Quentin Johnson is very athletic and cool, but he said he don't see that eye-popping ability of his route running, you know, his timing and stuff. And he felt like that wouldn't be able to translate to the NFL. Now, it could change, of course, but at the moment right now, you're looking at like, you want to wait for that? Now, Marvin Harrison is a different story. When you look at his play style, on a different level. He's on a different level like that than a lot of these guys. So he might be the best player in this draft too, because he has that Julio Jones type of play style. So I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of teams are be gunning for. I think the Chargers, they get him, pair him up with Keenan Allen, and you have Justin Herbert and Mike Williams can stay healthy, and Quentin Johnson, he can get back, he can get up to par. Then you can have your stuff for the future. You can have Marvin Harrison, you can have Mike Williams, and you can have Quentin Johnson. You can get up to par for the future. But until then, you can get this guy right here, pair with Keenan Allen, and then see what happens. And now you got Harbaugh there as well too, so you're gonna have that offense going crazy with Austin Eckler in the backfield. It's gonna be a nice offense. Now skipping down to number 7, which is another big highlight pick. I had the Cardinals take Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers, receiver from LSU. I think the Cardinals need a receiver. They already said they're not taking a quarterback. They said they're rolling with Kyler Murray, which is a good thing because Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. They got to find a way to build around, the O-line. Showed some improvement later in the year when Kyler Murray came back and won some games for them, beat my Steelers like that, which was a bad loss for us. But he showed some fight, and McBride was a good tight end too as well. So I think you add some more weapons on the outside. I think Marquise Brown is heading to free agency. I think he said he want to go to a different team. So I think Nabers will be a great pick to get. And also, let me move back up to the 5th spot. The Giants. I had the Giants take Joe Alt for Notre Dame. I think he's gonna be the first offensive lineman taken off the board. Very, very good on the outside like that. And the Giants need to build that O-line up. Barkley might be gone, I think Barkley might be gone in free agency. You never know what could happen. He might go to a contending team or something, or somebody might offer him some more money, so he could be gone in free agency. But if he does come back, you start building that O-line up around him, which he's been asking for years. But most likely, I think he's gone, but still, you still got to build the O-line up for Daniel Jones. I don't think the Giants will take a quarterback at that spot. I know some people have the Giants taking Jaden Daniels. They had the Giants trading up for May. But I think the Giants will roll with Daniel Jones just because the contract is just too much. Because if you draft a quarterback that high up, you're gonna have to play him probably most likely. You want to play him. That means you're looking to play him, looking to transition over. And Daniel Jones is still due a lot of money. I don't know if anybody will be willing to trade for him right now. Maybe next season you could probably find a way to get out of it, but we'll see what happens. Move down to the 11th spot. I had the Bears take Jackson Power Johnson. Center, they need to build that front up. They need to build that O-line up, and they need some push. So getting a center like Jackson Power Johnson to command your line will be a great addition for the Bears. I had the Broncos take Dallas Turner, the edge rusher. I don't think the Broncos will take a quarterback. A lot of people had them taking JJ from Michigan, like the quarterback from Michigan, which is a pretty good player, but I think it might be a little bit of a reach. I think if he did get selected, maybe later, maybe in the 2nd round-ish like that, I wouldn't be surprised if the team probably maybe did select him up high like that. They like in dire need of a quarterback, but I think he probably gets selected probably later rounds. Do you look at the Raiders? I had Cooper DeJean cornerback from Iowa to be the first cornerback taken off the board. He's an amazing player. A lot of people compare him to, I keep forgetting the guy named, the old giant, the last Caucasian cornerback we've seen, like that was good. But I think he plays more like Jalen Ramsey when I look at him. They probably compare him to that because they both the same, they're both Caucasian. They probably comparing him to that, like right there. But I think he's more on par with Jalen Ramsey. If you look at his play style, he's very physical cornerback. very like aggressive cornerback as well. And he's not afraid to get in the backfield to tackle. And one thing I love to see in cornerbacks, to get in the backfield to tackle and not be like just sitting there and just waiting for things to happen. Get in the backfield. Remember, Rod Woodson used to do it best. Get in the backfield, tackle, make some things happen, some forced fumbles. I think he'll be a great guy to set a tone. The Raiders defense, Antonio Pierce, is all about gritty and toughness. He'll fit that persona perfectly. With the other cornerback they have, what's his name? I think it's something Jackson. I think it's not Jalen Jackson. It might be Jalen Jackson. I think it's something Jackson. But the cornerback that had the pick six, we caught the one-handed one. They hit the pick against the Chiefs. That cornerback, I think he was number 15 if I'm not mistaken, but he might be a different number. Let me know in the comment section down below. But I think those two guys paired together with Max Crosby, Antonio Pierce with that hard-nosed style to build that Raiders defense back up, they'd be a pretty good team. But they got to find a quarterback, though. They could find Kirk Cousins or somebody there. I think Kirk Cousins would be willing to go to Vegas. And, you know, it's Las Vegas, and you have Devontae Adams as your best receiver and Jacoby Myers. So I think anybody be willing to take that job. So we'll see what happened with that. At 14, I had the Saints take Byron Murphy, defensive lineman from Texas. They need to build that front up. You know, Cam Jordan's getting a little older. He's a future Hall of Famer probably as well. But building that D line up, the interior D line up. I know people said some of their needs was I remember they said the needs of the Saints was D line, quarterback as well. But I don't think they take a quarterback. Because Derek Carr can pay a lot of money. Derek Carr is not bad. He's not like great either. He's like pretty good. He's like kind of in the middle. It's like, okay, he's a little above the average quarterback. He have his moments where he go out there looking phenomenal. Then he have moments where he's kind of wet the bed a little bit. But overall, I think if they can find a way to get that defense back to what it was a few years ago, about 2 years ago, they'll be able to compete and definitely get in the playoffs this season. I had the Colts take Nate Wiggins, cornerback from Clemson, to build up that defense, bolster that defense on the outside. Moving down to 18, I had Brock Bowers on tight end from Georgia. The Bengals get him. Joe Burrow get a tight end out there. Now Joe Burrow has Jamar Chase. T. Higgins could be going in free agency. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with T. Higgins, but I think Joe Burrow getting a guy like Brock added, you know, to the offensive weapon, because I think the past few years they had like all type of tight ends, you know, coming in left and right. So getting a solidified guy for the future would be great. I also had the Jaguars taking Terrion Arnold, cornerback from Alabama, at 17 to build that defense up on the outside as well. Jumping down to 20, I had the Steelers take Amarius Mims, right tackle from Georgia. As you know, the Steelers already have Broderick Jones, who's a left tackle, so might as well get Amarius Mims on the right side. And then you have Amarius, you have James Daniel, you have whatever center you get. You might have to draft a center probably second round or something. Or maybe if you see a guy out there very good, you make a sign one. Then you have Odyssey Amalu, and then you have Amarius Mims like that to build that front up, to build that push up. Steelers rushing attack was very good last year. You've seen Najee Harris and Jalen Warren both have over 1,000 scrimmage yards. Najee with over 1,000 rushing yards for the third straight time. So we'll see if the Steelers can continue that on. I had the Dolphins take Liatu Latu, edge rusher from UCLA. UCLA was very good at getting to the quarterback last year. And the Dolphins kind of struggled getting to the quarterback consistently. We know Bradley Chubb is a pretty good player. You know, he didn't live up to the potential that people thought he was going to be. That's how the Broncos traded him away. But he's a pretty good player, can go out there and do some things. But he's cut off an ACL tear. He tore his ACL, I think, like close to the end of the season. I think almost the last game. I think the game against the Ravens where they got blown out. The Ravens put up 50 on him, and he was still in the game for no reason. And he tore his ACL, and they lost another edge rusher as well. So I think it's time for them to go and draft a guy who can get to the quarterback consistently over and over and over and over again, instead of being like those times with Josh Allen. They was playing the Bills. I think they lost the last 12 matchups to the Bills. I'm not mistaken. I think the Bills won the last 11 out of 12 matchups, 11 out of 12. So the Bills have been having their number. They haven't been able to get pressure or get anybody there to Josh Allen. So get a guy like Liatu to go out there to send pressure in, to create some force on the outside and start getting that defense back up. Because the secondary is cool, but you got to get the pass rush there. You got to be able to get to the quarterback. Moving to the Eagles. At the Eagles take Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo. The Eagles secondary struggled a lot, especially in the cornerback position. The cornerbacks and safeties, that's one thing that you have to draft. The Eagles suffered a lot. It was not able to stop anybody on the outside. We've seen a lot of teams like CeeDee Lamb was cooking them up. We've seen Washington cook them up a few times too as well. I think they beat Washington, of course, but it's still a lot of the games was very close for no reason. Like they were getting beat on the outside by a lot of guys. They wasn't able to stay in coverage and stuff. So I feel like they need to go out there and get another cornerback. I know you have Darius Slay. He's getting a little older though, but get another cornerback to build around and draft a safety in the second round and see what happens. Now moving down to the Ravens. After the Ravens take a Troy Franklin, receiver from Oregon. I thought that was another highlighted pick as well, big time pick. The Ravens, of course, receiving core did better this year with Odell and Zay Flowers, but you still got to get better, you know. So I think Zay Flowers being there, and then you get another young guy in Troy Franklin, and another speedster too on the outside for you, and then you have Odell Beckham, the veteran, there too, and Nelson Aguilar, another veteran too. That will bolster up the offense a lot, and we'll see what happens with the Ravens. They already got Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, who's playing pretty good, very good too. So we'll see what happens with the Ravens right there. Even though they are rivals, I still think they are a very good team. Amazing team. Lamar Jackson is a phenomenal player, 2-time MVP. I wish in the AFC Championship game he would have used his legs a lot more. I feel like that was a time he should have used his legs with a lot of gaps open, but he was trying to force passes and play a style that wasn't his. Like a lot of these young guys that are coming into the league, I'm not calling them young, they're probably older than me, but a lot of these guys coming into the league are going to, some teams might try to force you to change your play style, but play your game. And coaches got to let them play their game. Like, why would I have Tom Brady running bootlegs, have Tom Brady doing read options? That's not Tom Brady game. Tom Brady going to drive back, you know, in the pocket. Tom Brady going to get play action passes and step up in the pocket and deliver like that. Lamar Jackson, play your game. You know, everybody play their game like that. So a lot of these guys coming in, there's like quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels, a guy who hopefully the Washington get him, they stay in the same spot and get him, or if somebody else get him, the Falcons trade up like I have in this scenario to get him. Hopefully they let him play his game, you know, instead of like having him trying to force him to be a pocket passer or force him to be that. Of course, you can help them work on those abilities that they struggle in, but let them play their game, build an offense around them, and then you'll see success happen. That's what Andy Reid did for the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. You see the success. You see Josh Allen as well with the Bills. The success that happens with them. Burrow with the Bengals, and all type of quarterbacks around the league. So y'all play your game. But this is my draft right here. You guys seen the full thing. Got the entire video. All the things I drafted. I mentioned some of the highlighted ones that I feel like some great picks for the teams. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you guys most likely tomorrow on the next video, which is already made. It'll be uploaded by probably 12 or 1 o'clock. So just be on the lookout for that. But peace out.